So this is Cardiff. So this is the bay. And yet, strung out along the mud flats at the mouth of the Taff, the place would be unremarkable were it not for its people. The men and women who settled there, who built the docks and stoked the blast furnaces and tipped the coal, who were born and married and worked and died in its narrow streets. There was no single spot you could say was the focal point. The old Great Western Railway line marked its northern boundary, and each arm of land pushing out to the Bristol Channel housed its own community. And except for Loudon Square, where the ship's captains lived, there were few grand houses. Indeed, we were told that Sankuhar Street and the cottages in behind there, as we called them, were built for £50 each. But although each area was separate and distinct, they shared the same experiences. There was poverty, but also gaiety. Life could be raw, but that was when neighbours and friends were there to help out. Front doors stood open. Unthinkable, isn't it? The street knew everyone's business. Success, especially sporting success, for one, was savoured by all. So they went through life sharing pleasures, sharing hardship, making their own amusement in the clubs, attending one of the gospel halls, or going to Mass at St. Paul's. And when death came, all the blinds in the street would be drawn. The coffin would be borne on the shoulders to the cemetery by the neighbours. The whole street would walk behind. And if young children had been left, you could be pretty sure that someone in the street would give them a home. It was a true community. Cosmopolitan, diverse, many-sided, truly international, and each corner proud of its separate and distinct identity. There was Newtown, confined to a narrow strip twixt Bute Docks and the railway line, where lived one of the greatest boxers of all time. And the women of Newtown, they kept their families by shoveling potatoes day after day out of the holds of the Irish boats when they came in. There were the steelworkers of Splot. The seafarers could be seen around Bute Street for a week or two, and then suddenly they disappeared, shipping off to China or to South America or somewhere else. The coal trimmers, the dry dock workers, living in Clarence Embankment and Grangetown. And later, there came the Arabs. They crewed our ships and clustered around their new mosque. The Somalis had their own quarter. And the Spanish refugees who arrived in the 30s from Franco's fascist regime. They settled between James Street and the Mount Stewart dry docks. As I call the roll, I see so many old friends in my mind's eye, and some villains as well, for we knew who they were. But they all lived cheek by jowl, with rugby, Welsh rugby internationals, Cardiff City football heroes, Lord Mayors, local magistrates, baseball idols, entertainers and singers, priests and bookies, all of them characters. Let us acknowledge how much we owe them. Those whose names were never recorded in the history books, but whose lives and uniqueness exemplified the heart and the soul of the Cardiff Bay community. Now let these songs commemorate a few of them and stand as a monument to the memory of all of them.
Man collects the bundle from the pawn shop once again. That's a way to sign the pledge. Each Saturday's the same. Bill Jones and Lilly Jenkins run along the river banks, taking off the prop boys, marching up and down the planks. Then pass by in tailcoats, and the mist hangs like a dream. Out there on the mud flats, where the bay air smells of steam. On an oil drum schooner with a ragged sackcloth sail, Bill Jones and Lilly Jenkins bravely man remember still how they wandered willingly round the bay of Sailor Billy and his sweetheart Tigerville. Banging on the windows of the houseboats neatly moored by the hamadryad, being chased by those on board, watching cockle sellers preying on the bloodied youths, falling out in fistfuls from Jack Scarrett's boxing boots. It was Lilly, Tiger Lilly, we were all so young and silly. Oh, and I remember still how they wandered willingly round the bay and Sailor Billy and his sweetheart Tigerville. Bill and Lily Jenkins, Ransom Adam, Lester Jones, bread and rice a penny, barefoot kids all skin and bone, sit at great big tables in the street. Lily, don't you cry, Madam Jones will make a great big bowl of Tuesday pie.